Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Krill, Ambassador of PinSeeker and owner instructor of VC Golf. Today I'm going to be talking about this video. We're going to go back to basics. Why the basics? What I see is too many golfers that struggle in their game. They tend to focus on the wrong things that are difficult, things that are happening at the top in the transition of their swing, a lot of path, a lot of impact position things. Those things happen at an instant. But what they forget is typically if you don't have a good foundation, the foundation basically influences all these things. So again, it's not going to fix everything 100%, but it's going to set you up for success. So today I'm going to talk about the setup and the basics of the setup. So I'm going to start out first with our grip. You've probably seen our videos on grip before, so I'm going to go in and just go over a neutral grip. You can go back and review that video, but again, I think it's good for golfers to start here. So what I'm going to do here is kind of walk up closer to the camera. And we're going to talk about the left hand if you're a left-handed golfer, your glove hand. So let's just talk about the glove hand. I like to see it basically fit right where the fingers meet the palm, maybe a little bit more into the fingers. And you can see here where it lays in my club. I don't want it too much in the palm, and I really don't like it too much in the fingers here. I tend to see a lot of people really get it in the palm, and when they open up their hand you can see that it's in the palm there, so I like that. Another note is when I look down without moving my head, so I'm going to scoot back, so I want you to check how many knuckles you can see on the glove hand, and I don't want you to take a peek like this. I want you just to get in your posture and look down. What I like to see is 2 knuckles, 1 to 2 knuckles, preferably 2. I don't want to see more than 2, and I really don't want to see, less than 1. I like to see 1.5 to 2 knuckles, okay? So what that means is that's going to get you a fairly neutral grip, maybe a little bit on the stronger side, but again, it's really not that strong at 2 knuckles, okay? So I like that on the glove hand. Now let's go to the non-glove hand. So it's going to be my right hand. What I like to see here is when I open my hand, you can see that the club is really in my fingers. I don't have it here in my palm. And again, what I see people do is they grip this, they're in their palm too much, and then when they open up their right hand, they're basically where in their palm here as well, or where the fingers meet the palm. I don't like that. I would rather it be more in the fingers. Okay? And what you're going to see is this little crease in the hand is where your thumb needs to go. I don't want it overlapping. So let's see if you can see here. There we go. See how that thumb fits nicely? I don't want it over too much. So what you're going to notice here, I've got my good grip. I'm going to open up this hand. You can see it's right where the fingers meet the palm. Open up that hand. You can see it's a lot in my fingers, more in my fingers, and that's going to keep me from gripping it too tight. And you're going to see this nice little crease between my thumb and my index finger running up my arm. And that's going to be a solid place for you to start. I'm not saying that that's where you need to end up. If you feel that your shot shape is struggling, you probably need to go to your instructor and then kind of go from there. But this is going to be a really good foundation for a grip. Okay, I also like to do interlock or overlap. I do interlock. I would like for you to get away from 10 fingers. So again, it's a big change if you're a 10 finger and doing all this other stuff, but that's just where I want you to start and try to get used to it. Grip is really hard to change. Just suck it up for a week or 2 and you will get used to it. All right, next thing that I'm going to talk about is going to be posture, okay? So you can see here, what I like in posture, and I'm going to go ahead and set down my club, is I like a really athletic posture. I see too many people that really bend over here and get kind of relaxed. They're kind of squatted down, and the thing is, it may be comfortable, but it's not athletic. I think athletic is something I always tell people, if you ever play basketball, I want you to set up like you were defending somebody in basketball. So you want to be well centered, and you want to be able to really kind of move any direction at any time, because there's a lot of forces in the golf swing. We've got forces going back, we're rotating back, we got forces coming down, pulling us forward, and here, and we need to be able to compensate for those forces, so we need to be really centered, okay? So I like to have a straight back, and to be centered. And then we just reach down and grab the club. I don't like too much of a knee bend, and I don't like our rear being way back behind our heels. I like to be more over our heels, over our ankles, and a little bit taller. And you can see straighter back there. A good way to make sure we have a good straight back is to run a club from my head all the way down to my rear and bend over, and that's going to be a good straight back. If you struggle with that, take the club down, let it go. Put your arms out to your side, bend over, and then grab the club. So that's going to be a good one for posture. So we want to make sure our feet, I'm going to go from this angle, are just outside your shoulders, okay? I like the insides of your feet on the outside of your shoulders, so that would put the outside of your feet just a little bit outside, okay? Slight knee bend, and we don't want to bend over too much forward. We want to be kind of tall, again, like a defender. I see too many people where their hands get too low, the club gets low, they're hunched over. I would rather you be a little bit taller, somewhere in this fashion. The next thing that we're going to go over is alignment. This is the one that I see most people struggle with. They struggle from lesson to lesson. There is no consistency in alignment, and people think that their swing changes overnight, and it absolutely does not. Your alignment can change or trend in a bad direction over a short period of time. So if your alignment is, say, lined up too far left, your body's going to compensate for that and start picking up bad swing habits. So we need to make sure our alignment is good day to day. Most of us have simulators, and most of you that are tuning in right now, the reason why you're getting this email is because you play Pin Seeker and you're in a simulator. You are not helping yourself if you do not set up alignment stick while you play in your indoor simulator. There's no reason not to set up an alignment rod while you're playing indoor golf, because it's awesome. We're in a controlled environment. We might as well use it to our advantage, okay? So you're going to notice I'm going to set up. I've got two sticks. I've got one lined up straight. Then I've got one that's going to reference a ball position, okay? I want to know where the center of my stance is and where the ball is relevant to the center of my stance at all times, okay? So here I am. Perfect. Let me get my golf club. So you can see on this camera a little bit, that camera's a little bit angled. You can see that this black rod is going to be lined up just a hair to the left of my target for a right-handed golfer. If you're a left-handed golfer, it needs to be a hair right of the target. You want it a little bit open of the target. When I say open, roughly I'd say 5 yards to 8 yards open of the target. Your better ball strikers have a little bit open hips and a little bit open shoulders, and that's what's gonna help us hit the ball solid and kind of swing a hair left. But again, club path, and I don't want to get into it too much, but we can talk about it later, but we do want the horizontal plane or the H plane to be swinging slightly left, okay? All right, so what I've got, and you can see on this camera here, I've got a pitching wedge, and I want that in the center of my stance, and I can see, I don't have to guess, but I can see it's in line with the yellow rod, and it's in the middle of my stance. Say I had a 7-iron, I want it to be a little bit up in my stance. Now I can make sure that yellow rod's front of center, and I know where the ball is, so I'm going to know that I'm hitting it where it needs to be. And if I'm hitting it bad, it's not going to be ball position, it's not going to be alignment, it's something in my swing, and I've got to figure it out. But again, this is just the foundation and the basics. So with this, I can line up my toes with the black rod, I can move the yellow rod wherever in my stance depending on the club. I like to see wedges, 9-irons in the middle of the stance, lob wedges, gap wedges, sand wedges. Those need to be a little bit of back center. And then basically 8-iron, 7-iron, they need to be a little bit front of center. And then your 5-iron, 6-iron, 4-iron, 3-iron, whatever those are, need to be closer to your lead heel here. And then driver, I like it to be right off that front heel, just like that. So again, you can use this rod, and I'm moving. You're not moving the ball around because you can't move the ball. We need to move ourselves relevant to what shot we're trying to hit. So again, that's really the basics that I want you to ingrain in your golf swing, and the things that you have control over it. There is no excuse. So I want to make sure that you practice these, you ingrain these, and use your simulator to your advantage. Okay, so I appreciate you guys tuning in, and that's it for this video. Go ahead and hit the next link so you can get started on the next tips to make you start hitting it better. Thank you guys for tuning in, and happy pen seeking.